Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Join the latest retro revolution, where we go back in time playing every single video game. We started all the way back in September 1971, and you can't stop us now that we hit November 1982. We were last on the Atari home computer, checking out the very interesting Astron 9. Let's see what our next release is. Our next video game takes us to the Atari VCS, or the newly titled Atari 2600. This is Atlantis II. Sound familiar? It should. Atlantis II is an altered version of Atlantis when Magic ran the Defend Atlantis contest. They wanted to find the top 4 highest scoring players and invite them to Bermuda for a grand finale shootout for cash prizes. The top 250 contestants would get snorkeling sets, and the top 100,000 contestants would get t-shirts. Unfortunately, more than 4 people maxed out the score on Atlantis, so to break the tie, all of these maxed out scorers were sent snorkeling sets, t-shirts, and a modified Atlantis game, this one called Atlantis II. The modified game's faster, scores lower per hit, and the score font, it looks a little different. That's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the quote-unquote box. All they did was take Atlantis and slap a sticker that says Atlantis II over it, so it is not a real sequel. It's just a modified game. The original Atlantis did come out with 2 different box fronts, so it could be, I guess, any one of the original box fronts. And you can see, flip it over the back, and it's just Atlantis, even though it says Atlantis 2 on the front. Do we have anything else for Atlantis 2? No, here we go. There's more of what the Magic box looked like when you try to scan it in. It's not so shiny. You got to get a real one to know how it feels, at least what it was like if it was brand new. Yeah, there we go. Here's some of the memorabilia you would have gotten. We're going to take a look at the Defend Atlantis contest in a second. Then there's the cartridge. It's pretty much a modified cart, but they didn't change anything on the cartridge. And then there's an example of some of the letters you would have gotten if you were in the contest. Yes. And so we're going to pretend like we made it, and we're going to go. Here's the Defend Atlantis contest, another great Magic game. If you enter in, you can win lost treasures of gold, over $40,000 in prizes. And you can see the contest ended October 24th, so here in November is when the contest was held, and you would have had your chance to play Atlantis 2. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's like Atlantis CE, or SE, sure. And there's here the official contest rules. You can see what all it is required to win the contest. If you want to, you can pause this video and see what additional prizes are out there. I gave you the gist, and there's the entry form. That's what we would have done to fill out and play. Let's pop in Atlantis II and check it out. This is again by Dennis Coble, published by Magic, and this one at sometime at the beginning of November 1982. Oh, yeah, look at that. It is the Atlantis feels. This special contest version of Atlantis was sent to the highest scorers of the Defend Atlantis contest. The top 4 would be flown to Bermuda and a chance to win $10,000. It's amazing. And it's said that only 93 copies of this game were made, so very, very rare. All right, let's check it out. First set. Oh, you're not going to get the best of me, buddy. Yeah, don't even think about it. The firepower, I actually feel like I got more firepower on this, but it is tough. They ramp the difficulty up. Look how fast the planes are going by. Wow. It is still the same gameplay. You got 3 different turrets. This one, this modified version, is only 1 player, so you can't play with a friend. You know how you did the team-ups to shoot different things? It's just by yourself, because you're meant to be going for the high score and win the contest. Oh, and there's the UFO that takes us to Cosmic Ark, the next video game. Sweet. Is this the beginning? Yeah, there you go. So it just resets. How long can you last in this ultimate space shooter? You gotta love all the colors in Atlantis. It looks awesome. Oh, he did get the best of us there. Alright, yep. I need to be a lot more liberal. Just shoot. Go, go, go. Get it. Because every time you make a shot, it's kind of like Space Invaders. You can just keep shooting after that. This marks, or the original Atlantis we saw in July 1982. And then we also saw Atlantis on the Intellivision in October 1982. That's what's already out there. This version, Atlantis 2, is only on the Atari 2600. And this marks the 161st game we played on the Atari. Can you believe that? Look how fast everything was going. Gosh. And this is by Imagic. This is the 11th game we've seen that Imagic has done. And I'm not actually sure if Dennis Coble did this modified version. I'm just going to give him the credit because he did all the work on the original Atlantis. And this is the 7th game that Imagic has done for the Atari 2600. Of all the games you can be playing right now across all home consoles, because this is just barely changed and different from the other, it is extremely rare. It's not really doing anything to push the video games at this point. It's still an interesting title, but it's for pros only. I'm going to have to go pretty average for all the games you could play across all home consoles. If you want to play the best, I would say Atlantis on the Intellivision. It's awesome. Atlantis 2, and then for the first Atlantis, I would say it was a bit better than this, more play modes. And then this one's just a novelty. 3 stars for Atlantis 2. All right, after that, let's see what our next release is. Next, we're going to the United Kingdom to play Auto Chef on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. I have never heard of Auto Chef. Let's check it out together. Looks like it is a chef game. We're actually going to be cooking things. On the 16K or 48K Spectrum, this is by CCS Software. The second game we've seen. The only other game at this point was Print Shop that we saw in May 1982. Teach us how to play Auto Chef. We also have, besides the box, the, the very worn cassette tape. Has 2 different copies or 2 recordings of Auto Chef on there. I'm amazed we got the artwork for it. I don't know what exactly they're going for. We do have an example of a screenshot. The manual that we have for this one is a homemade manual. We don't have the original intact. At least I couldn't find one. It shows us the loading instructions, objects of the game, and we'll get into what the game is like. This is a business simulator game made by CCS, and in the game, you're going to take the role of a managing director of a restaurant chain, and your objective is to trade profitably and accumulate enough capital, that would be £25 million, to take over THF. It's the enemy corporation, basically. The game requires players to make decisions on various aspects like the type of outlet to operate, menu prices, loan contracts, food and wine purchases, advertising, wages, dividends. Each decision makes into the account of the annual inflation rate. So this one is like the ultimate lemonade stand game as far as a business simulation game goes. It's got a few different versions. In fact, there was one from Serbia in 1983. We have the tape version that we're going to pop in and play. This is Auto Chef, CCS, in the beginning of November 1982. This marks the 117th game that we played on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. All right, so this one is keyboard only. I'm going to go in with difficulty level 1. Yes, this is it. Lots of menus, survey of potential customers. We have fast food cafeterias or restaurants. So continue, press enter. You can see what's doing well in the market right now. And then cost for food, wine, spirits, wages, RPI, and meals bought. So this is just giving us a few stats of the landscape before we make decisions. And now we can decide, what do we want to do? Fast food, cafeteria, or restaurant? So what type of outlet do we want to go for? Let's go for a fast food restaurant. And then rent, we'll do the 50,000. I think we got enough for that. There we go. And price of meals, now we get to decide how much we want to charge. The usual is £1 to £3. Oh, imagine a time in the United Kingdom when you can get fast food for £1. All right, let's do £1. Keep it cheap. This is like many of the other business management simulations. You just make decisions, and if you make the best decisions, then you're going to be able to win the game. This is the 52nd business management simulation that we've played on the show. There's a lot out there. We have a loan available at 10%. Do we want to go for it? Oh, I don't know. The decision. Yes, let's do it. Go for that loan. And then we have food for stock purchases. Man, they get into stocks on this? Yeah, we're only going to get quarter pounders. Yeah, here we go. Let's do, yes. Wine at 88,000 pounds. Okay, sure. Advertising the decision. Okay, now we decide what we want to do with advertising. So this is incorporating lots. We played a couple games that have you cooking. You know, you're in the kitchen cooking as a video game. It's very, very rare. But this is more akin to all the other business management simulation games. This is going This is going way, way deep. All right, so let's do levels to increase sales. How about 5? And then pay policy, pay your staff 5% less, and risk a strike. Yes, yes, we will. And then they tell us what's going on with food and drink wages. There's the estimate and the actual. And so this is essentially you making business decisions for your restaurant. One of the very first ones we played was Lemonade Stand, where you're just a kid at a lemonade stand. You make the decisions for, how much the lemonade is, what the temperature of the day is. If it's really hot, people are going to buy more lemonade. This is way more complicated, and we've seen lots of other games get more complicated than that one. There's our sales, salary, wages, gross profit. We only have 1,718 pounds. Yikes, we're in the hole. Oh, no, yeah, we're at a big loss. Oh, man. Already making terrible decisions here on Chronologically Gaming. There's the share of the capital, input dividend. Oh, what percent? I don't know, 20%. Do we get one? Yikes. And there's our balance sheet. Oh, man, if you love numbers and you love business and management simulations, this is the game for you. That's how we'll play for Auto Chef. It is a one-player only game. You notice how I couldn't pick different people. Usually when we play these, you can play with other friends, but Auto Chef, it was just me. That was the only one. Of all the games you can be playing right now across all home computers, Auto Chef is a measly 2.5. It's actually cool being able to run your own restaurant, providing the decisions. It works very well as a game at this point, but I'll say subpar or around the average. 2.5 stars for Auto Chef. But that's not all. Auto Chef was also on the Sinclair ZX81. Of course it was. You want to play Auto Chef with even less color? Here it is. The box was, I believe, the first one. I mean, this is so quaint. It's got to be the first time it ever came out right here. That's so simple. And then, oh yeah, we have instructions. You are the MD of a group which operates a chain of restaurants. Oh, we're even higher up than the manager. $1 million or £1 million capital. Objective is to get to 25 million pounds. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. That's going to take a long time. But you go through all the different things like trading account, profit, lose account, balance sheet. And this is very informative. You would have found this on the inside sleeve of your cassette. There's the cassette tape to play Auto Chef. And there you go. All the way opened up with instructions of how to load too. You got to know it all. Here's Auto Chef by CCS in the beginning of November 1982. I think we're going to see pretty much the same game. I mean, it already looked like it was a ZX81 game on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This marks the 80th game we've played on the Sinclair ZX81. Go, little micro, go. I want to go with, let's go with difficulty 3 and just lose the company faster. Newsflash. Auto Chef share issue of 1 million pounds successful. Nice. So we got some investors. We have takeaways, fast food, cafeterias, restaurants. Okay, so continue, new line. Got it. Giving us the info of what the market's like right now. Very nice. Meals bought. Okay, great. Takeaways, fast food, cafeterias. Interesting. They give us some few more options here. Well, I guess one more option. All right, this time let's go for restaurant, number 4. I'll go for a restaurant chain and give me about 60,000 pounds. Oh, no, our bid failed. That one didn't work. Maybe we have to go fast food first. We're not experienced enough. Rentals of outlets have increased by 10%. And then there's more stats. Whenever I play these types of games, I'm reminded that there's spreadsheet applications right now on home computers. And we're kind of close to a spreadsheet application and video game. It's very gray. Let's try fast food then. And $50,000 bid. It failed too. Oh, I know why. Because we put on the harder difficulty. We got to raise even more money or put out more for the bid for it to work. Well, it looks like we're not starting that restaurant. No restaurants or fast food chains starting here. I still say of all the games you could play across all home computers, it's still about 2.5 stars. Well done, Auto Chef. All right, let's see what our next game is. Yes, coming up next is Aztec Challenge for the Atari home computers. Whether you got 400 or 800, let's check out some Aztec Challenge. Starting with the box. Awesome. We're going to be running away from our lives. This should be confused with Aztec for the Apple II by Datamost that we haven't seen yet, but it's going to be coming out soon. This marks the 384th game we've played on the Atari line of home computers. And this is by Cosme. Look at that. This is the 7th game we've seen by Cosme. They've done some interesting games. And this one's a double pack, I believe. Yeah, look at that, cassette and disc version. And this front of the box, this is doesn't age very well. I don't know who we're going to be playing as. Are we going to be running after people or chasing people? We flip it over the back, and it gives us a screenshot of what's going on. Arcade quality, fast action. Suddenly, you're in the capital of the Aztec Empire in 1500 AD. You've been sentenced to be a ritual sacrifice to their gods, and your only chance of escape is to complete an obstacle course known as the Aztec Challenge. That's brutal. So this is a period piece. We're going back to 1500 AD. Yeah, that's right, Manly. Human sacrifice simulation. That's where it's at in November 1982. And besides that, we just have a screenshot, and that is it. Let's check out the manual. So this one is done by, hey, Robert Tegel Bonifacio. And the only other game we've seen that him do was Meltdown, which was very similar to Frogger. Check that one out. It was very, very good. Very well done. An exciting, daring, skillful game. You only need 16K of RAM on your system. And notice that it's a slightly different box. Two different looking front of the boxes that I've seen. But it's even bigger than that. This goes deeper than that. This version of Aztec Challenge is the first one you could ever play. But there's a whole nother one that we're going to see in 1983 that looks completely different. It plays pretty much the same, but the way that the graphics are, it's almost a totally new game. So we're actually going to see that one later. This is the very first Aztec Challenge that you could play. And as far as games taking place in the Aztec or the Columbias, this is the only other game I can think of is Mask of the Sun that we saw on the Apple II, where you get to play in an Aztec setting. My goodness, lots and lots of stuff for the table of contents on this manual. So here's what you do. You find yourself in Tenochtitlan, which I'm sure I mispronounced that one, the capital of the ancient Aztec Empire in 1500. Montezuma is the emperor of the Nahua nation, presides over the powerful trade system, and we're going to be sacrificed to the gods. So we got to run and jump, avoid traps, and let's just see how we play this. So you can pause and get more lore of the reason why we're running. I'm so glad they tell us. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. Why are we running? We begin with on the grounds, and it goes to another level called the columns, and then the grounds and the columns, then the fire caves, the batons, the gyms, the walls. Sweet. Here's the system requirements, loading instructions, whether you got cassette or disc version. We'll breeze by that. And this one, you do have to have the Atari VCS joystick plugged in. 1 or 2 joysticks can play, and this is a 2-player simultaneous game. You and a friend can play at the same time. If you want to play for the first time, you can select option 1. So after it's loaded, you'll see the title screen. And you're now playing the option. You can move, jump over objects. If you don't, you'll explode on them. One of your 4 chances will be gone. If you wish to play a 2-player game, plug in the second joystick and go 2-player. Now, what does it mean by restart or continue? There it is. If you want to continue from the phase you were currently playing, press the select key, and the screen display will change from select restart to select continue. I believe this is one of the very first home video games that has a continue feature. In other words, if you're playing this for an extended period of time, you can select, instead of restarting a new game, you can select continue and continue where you left off. I think this is the very first game that I haven't seen any game at home. I'm talking everything on consoles. Majority of them would have checkpoints, if you died, but you can select to continue and take over where you left off. That's big thinking. And then we have a high scorers, bonus players, reset key, and what the option key and start key do for us. And of course the select key. All this is on the Atari home computer. Yes, we're not going to drink the water, Manly. Yeah, you cannot load the program. You need have some problems. We'll help you out. And then down at the bottom, it's a nice intro of Robert T. Bonifacio. Yeah, he's a 17-year-old doing the game right now, and I believe we got the dates incorrect. It says he's working on a game called Meltdown. So it looks like Meltdown possibly came next, and we fudged the dates. So pretend that this one was the first one that he ever did, I guess. All right, so this one is on disc or tape. We're going to pop in the disc version to play. Aztec Challenge by Cosme in the beginning of November 1982. I'm going to start off first putting in 2 joysticks because it can't be stressed enough how cool this is for 2 people to play. All right. And I believe we can do, yeah, there we go. I'm going to do a 1-player, switch to, you can see I can hit the select and go from restart to continue. We'll restart it and then do option for a 2-player game. Are you ready? I'll just show you a little bit of what the game's like. So I'm playing as both players right now. So it's very, very difficult. But the game is auto-scrolling. It is an auto-scrolling platformer, and you and a friend can play at the same time. All you have to do is be able to jump at the right times. Oh, and if you... Oh, yeah, I can't believe I made that. If you run into anything, hit an obstacle, then it's all over. You're done. You're trying to last as long as possible. So it's a competitive 2-player game, but simultaneous 2-player scrolling platformer. That's awesome. And there's other options for the way you jump, and I'll show that off whenever we go back to the main menu. So just so you know, it is 2-player possible, but we'll go ahead and go with a 1-player game. And take us off. Ready, go. All right, so if we push the red button on our joystick, we do a normal jump, like that. If you hold down on the joystick and jump, you do a hop. So you do a smaller little jump. If you hold up on the joystick and jump, then you do a massive high jump over the top. This is awesome. This is otherworldly. I had no idea that this existed. And yes, Palpuck, this should not be the one you remember. The first one here in 1982 looked like this. And we're going to be seeing in 1983 possibly the one you're thinking of. And I think there's even another one later than that. But this is the very first time and the first one you would have seen that looks like this. This is so cool. I'll go underneath. Why not? Now, we're starting on phase 1. If you are able to survive, it goes through different phases. This is an auto-run platformer. And it was interesting to find out that of all the games we've seen up to this point, the majority of platformers that scroll are auto-scrolling like this. One of the very first ones we ever saw was Jump Bug in the arcade. Then after that was Snapjack in the arcade. And then we also saw Jungle King and Jungle Hunt. And then at home, we saw a game called Pogo Man. If everybody remembers, Pogo Man was so cool. It was one of the first times I ever saw anything like that at home. This one looks kind of like Pogo Man, but this one plays much, much better. And then we had another game that was called Track Attack. Oh, let's see if we can do a little hop. There we go. And then a high jump. Okay, now I'm getting it. Track Attack had one main feature that looked like a... Oh, I got to be able to do my jumps correctly. Where if you got on the train, then it allowed you to do an auto-scrolling level where you're running from car to car on the train. Oh, yeah, I would too. This is so much fun. Oh, see, I need to do the low jump. You have to know which jump to do. Oh, so now we made it to phase 2, so they're giving us platforms and the columns to deal with. Now, of all the games we played up to this point, there are platformers in the normal sense, because here on the show we're breaking down platformers in different ways. We have a fixed platformer, which is like the Space Panic games, where you're not running and jumping, it's just like digging. And then we have the arcade platformers like Donkey Kong. It takes place on one screen. It may have different screens, but it's not really, you're not traveling like this or moving in a different spot. And there's only 2 games that play like traditional platformers. So here, oh, no, I missed the jump. The only 2 games we played that are unique is Pitfall on the Atari 2600 and Smurf for the ColecoVision. That's it. Otherwise, you have an auto-run platformer like this, or you have an arcade platformer or a fixed platformer. Something else to note is, I made it to phase 3. This whole game is being randomly... wrong jump. You got those 3 different kinds of jumps. Everything here that you're seeing is being randomly generated. So every time you play, you're going to have something different to traverse. It's so fun. Oh, wait, is that a high jump? Yeah, okay, barely. They're mixing it up, making it crazy. Oh, that's true. You are kind of jumping with Moon Patrol. Good point, Palpuck. Yeah, so that'd be another auto-run platformer. Okay, I think we just walk off. Is there fall damage? I don't think so. Yes, no fall damage. They're learning. This is so well done and so unique. The only other game I can compare it to is the other ones I mentioned, and that's not a lot. Wow. I like that you can you're picking different heights to jump, so you have to really think about what you're... Oh, I'm going to make that... Okay, and you can learn when to just walk off the side. That's a normal jump, normal. So in a way, this game is making it where you... Oh, nice, you can go all the way past the top of the screen. That's awesome. It's solving the issue where right now there doesn't exist a game where you tap a button and you do certain strengths of a jump or a button. So what you're doing is you're using the joystick to go farther. We made it to phase 4. That's so fun. And then the multiplayer competitive mode is great. So now watch this. If I can go one player and then I select the continue option, ready? And I have continued where I left off. So you can keep going and exploring level after level. We've played quite a bit. Oh, no way. We had to do real platforming because that's the fire pit. Awesome. We played lots of games that are, scramble variants that are you're going from level to level. I don't know how I'm going to... Whoa. You have to really have a really amazing jump. Yeah, phase 4 is ramped up the difficulty. Whoa, 1 pixel. Just barely made it. So if you're thinking of the other Aztec challenge, we will check that one out. This one is still, it's randomly generating. Let's see if we can make it through this time. I don't know how I don't know how I made that one. All right, this is so cool with the continue option, being able to keep going. Yeah, this makes you feel like we're playing a much newer platformer. All right, let's go. Time it right. You have this little float mechanic to come down. You have to think about how you time your floating. Let's see, does that work? There it is. Wow, yeah, this is tough. Awesome. Yeah, way better than the platforming of Pogo Man or any of those other auto-run platformers we played. I can't think of anything right now that would, at least in November 1982, that would make this even more impressive. Because if they made it so that it was exploratory, like Pitfall maybe, but gosh, look at this. All right, we're doing it. You have to know when to use the joystick to go for the different heights. Oh, I think I jumped too early. Oh, I made it. I don't know how I did it. Come on, go, go, go. It really looks like he's clipping the edge, so I don't know. I'm glad they're counting that. And that's a normal jump. That one's a high jump. Yeah, much more playable than the other auto-run platformers. And this one feels like it is... What? No way! Is that the last... And do I have to start all the way over again at the beginning of phase 4 to make it through? That's so tough. Yeah, and they were going to do that nebulous. Look at this. Now we got... Whoa! I love it. So many great things that they employed on this one. This is fantastic. This is one of the best games you could play across any home computers right now. I can't stress enough how rare it is to play a platformer like this right now. Oh, nice. If you can get on top, you can actually jump. That's sweet. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Can I do it again? Awesome. Yep, I'll do it again. Come on, get up there. Oh, but if you touch the side. So we made it to phase 5. Still going. Man, so much fun. If you look this up right now, most people aren't showing this version because it got outshined by the 1983 version. So it does look a lot better in 1983, but the core game mechanics are here. Oh, and I bet that's the end, right? Yeah, and there you go, phase 5, and we can continue. That's so cool. Continue at home. The only time we've seen continue that I've been tracking with video games has been in the arcade. If you put in enough money, then you can continue. You put more coins in and continue. But at home, having a continue feature is amazing. Yes, and the developer was 17 years old. So cool. He's doing something that is going to be a bigger hit later. I mean, think of Pac-Land, Super Mario Brothers, all those games. This one is auto-scrolling, but this formula running from left to right and jumping is huge. I wonder how many people were influenced by this. Or was it Pogo Man? I don't know if it was this or this or Pogo Man. The other ones weren't as popular. Yeah, this is so fun. So there you go, Aztec Challenge, the one you could play from 1982. We're going to be seeing another one later, but I'd still say right now, this is tops. This has too many things that are working well for it that it can't be ignored. I actually want to go all the way to 5, but because I know they're going to have a later release, and because we've seen some other auto-run platformers, but that continue feature is really what pushes this over the top. I'm looking over the chat. We see James going out 4.5 to 5 stars. M. Tiskey saying 4.5 too. Yeah, I'll start at 4.5. It is one of the best games you could play on any home computer right now, big time. 4.5 stars for Aztec Challenge. And what a feat for the developer. That was too good. All right, that's all the time we have for Chronologically Gaming. Thanks for tuning in and watching us play every single video game all over the world, across all systems and all platforms, all arcade games, all handhelds. You name it, we're going to play it. Tune in next time on Chronologically Gaming. Everything is in 3D. How about 3D wireframe graphics on the Commodore VIC-20 or Breakout in 3D? And we're also going to get up to Bump and Jump, finally. That's it for today, and like I always say, let's party like it's 1982. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.